Hello. It's season 4, episode 12
It is.
of the Soulcast.
So today we have a special Stories of All Soldiers season 4 episode. We're going to tell the story of our chalices. We've got a couple guests in the waiting room currently.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay.
I'm digging that license plate in your background.
Yeah,
Cruising
Where's
on a
my-
Sunday afternoon. Sorry, go ahead.
so that's great. I'm keep rolling.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think the word is groovin' in that song. I don't know.
It is grooving, but you can cruising works. And the story behind that license plate is that was my mother lived in Santa Cruz, and she had that license plate on a truck that she owned for a while, and then eventually got a new one. And I'll take that. That's a cool license plate.
That is a cool license plate. That's a good story too.
Awesome.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
That was both of us at the same time.
Welcome to the Soulcast to both of you.
It's
Thank
season
you.
4, episode 12.
Glad to be here.
I'm totally fangirling out with, I'm a long time watcher from day one.
Yes.
And now I get to be here. It's very exciting.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Solid.
So today we're talking about our chalices that we've been using. So ever since we have been meeting in person again, we have been on a BYOC system, which is bring your own chalice, which is exactly what it sounds like. We are, instead of drinking out of one common chalice, everyone is receiving wine in their own individual chalices, which you both know because you have been there and participated in that and brought your own chalices, which is what brought you to this moment, because we noticed that you had interesting chalices. But I wanted, before we get into any questions, just talk a little bit about like this kind of like weird moment that we're in, and like how the way COVID has precipitated some like, deep thinking around things that we've like always done, like ever since I've been in the Episcopal Church, and for generations before me, we've had this idea that we drink out of the common cup, and that's something that brings us together, and that's something that unites us. And I don't know if you are familiar, Bishop Curry has this amazing story about his parents went to church together, and his dad had never been to an Episcopal church before, and he saw Black people and white people drinking out of the same cup, and he was like, well, this is a church I can get on board with. And that changed kind of like the course of his life and his family's life. And so there's a really like theological importance in drinking out of the same vessel, right? But now we're in this COVID moment where that's not really possible. And so we started thinking through all the options of like, well, what can we do? And like what a lot of churches are doing is not serving wine at all. And they're just serving bread for communion. And other churches are doing those like individually sealed, vacuum sealed type of things. But we thought like the fact that we drink from the same vessel is important to us, right? And so how do we achieve that same kind of like theological idea in the safest way that we can? And so we thought, well, we should just pour it into people's cups, right? And then, then it was like, bring your own chalice, because that's easier on the, like, it doesn't create as much waste. It doesn't cost as much if people just bring their own. So those are two practical reasons we started doing that. But also I kind of think that this is like I don't know, we thought about it in a practical sense first, but my sense is that like, when I started seeing people's chalices and how they were all different and unique, it kind of like helped me think about the way we like bring ourselves into communion with each other. And we are like each individual people, and we have our own kind of like personalities, and we like come into communion and we are united in the body of Christ in that way. And so like, we started getting really excited when we would see people's chalices, because it was like, okay, these are like, they are just kind of like representing kind of like the whole experience, right? Which is like, we're all bringing ourselves to this moment, and then drinking, the same, like from the same vessel. So anyway, but the reason that you both are here is that as we go around and distribute communion, we noticed that you had interesting chalices, and you might not think they're interesting, but they did stand out from the crowd. So, well, Erin, can you show us your chalice?
Yes. I can't tell what you can see. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
So I went to a thrift store to find a chalice, and I picked this one up and was like, okay, wait, did I just turn into a giant, or is this coffee mug shrunk? Like, what happened here? But I loved it. So actually, I really appreciate Maggie, what you were saying about kind of the new way of doing things after COVID in so many areas of our lives. But in this area, I actually really appreciate having to take the cup and to take it back and sit down and to be able to be quiet while I have the bread and the wine and kind of let it warm my heart and refresh me to go back out into the world. But I like that it's from a common cup, but it's still, I don't have to gulp it down while I'm walking in the line, or, you know, I can really savor it. And then I love the little handle because I'm trying to manage my guide dog and holding the bread and the wine and not tripping. And so I love this little handle.
Totally.
But then I was thinking, well, since it's such a wonderful experience, it's become, it always has been, but really since having this individual chalice, it's become the most important part of the service for me. And just, I look forward to that moment of quiet and feeling God's presence within me in some ways. And so I was thinking, well, how can I savor it even more? So then I got home and I realized I have this. And maybe I'll show up with this one Sunday because it still has the handle, and it just will leave me with more and more. So
Oh, Erin,
yeah.
that's so good. I feel like we just got pranked, and I love it.
I also love that you went out and where you were like intentional about like picking something out that would feel good in the moment, and like that's a sweet part of it too.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Nate.
I'll jump in. So I'm going to share my screen here, and so this is a picture of what the type of chalice that we have, and I'll just share it for a second, and so people can see it, and then I'll stop sharing so that.
So I recognize that as a Moscow Mule mug.
Exactly, and so you're getting to the core of the story here.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay.
So Melissa and I periodically over the last few years, like we have friends who, like when you go to their house, they mix you a cocktail, and we always think like, oh, they're so grown up, like they have all the mixers and they got all the cups and they got the shakers, and like all we can really put on is like beer and wine. Like that's so we've kind of, I think when we got these Moscow Mule cups, our intention was, hey, we're going to become grown-up drinkers. Like we're going, like we're going to do it. We're going to start having cocktails. We're not just going to always default to beer and wine on. And but in kind of, the unintended uses or the little mysteries of life, these cups have gotten far more use as our chalices than they've ever gotten as cocktail cups in our house. Because despite our intention to change our habits, we're still mostly beer and wine drinkers. But this has been a super nice thing to bring to church because I think it feels special. I think one of the things that Melissa in particular kind of enjoys is kind of the beauty of church, the beauty of the vestments and the space and the candles and all of that. And so I think for us, having these types of cups that are, they're copper and they're shiny, and it kind of brings some of that kind of specialness of kind of how church can be aesthetically beautiful experience, and allows us to kind of bring that with us, whether we're doing service inside the church or whether we're out in the courtyard. So that's the story. It's mostly just you unintended uses, but it's great we have them, because actually it has added a little bit of specialness for us to the experience, and it's also made sure that we're actually using something that would otherwise just probably be sitting in our cabinet waiting for the day when we became grown-up drinkers. So that's the story of the chalices.
I love that you two sit on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Erin went and picked this out, and Nate, you just had this and had it repurposing it. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, you two, and for sharing your stories.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good week. Bye.
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 That was awesome. I didn't know what to expect, because you just never know. That's why we ask the questions, right? It's like you just never know the backstory behind anything.
Yeah. So this gets at something else, Maggie, that we have been talking about as a staff team, which is we've been talking about ways that we can stop using those little Dixie cups that we've been using on Sunday mornings that are one, disposable or one-time use, but two, they don't have any character. So the idea we have is, this is Phil's idea, wasn't it? Or your idea?
I think it was Phil's idea.
Like a really good diner, like a really solid diner, breakfast diner, has the wall of mugs that are like random mugs, and you come in and you can pick your own mug, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking to do that for these chalices.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a chalice, like
Small drinking vessel.
there we go. I knew the vessel was the word I was looking for. That is lying around your house, you're not using, that you want to put in the rotation for people to use as chalices at church. Bring it.
Yeah, this could be like your old shot glass collection. This could be like you bought 1 million of the same cup for your wedding and you have boxes of them in your garage. This could be like anything that you have laying around your house that's like a relatively small, and you can drink out of it and you don't need it or want it in your house anymore. We would love to take that off your hands.
Totally. So what we'll do is between the 9 and 11:15 services, we'll sanitize them in our sanitizer, and we'll do that after the 11:15 service. So they'll be clean, but they will live here and you might not get them back. So if you're going to bring it, just know that you might not get this back. You also might not actually use it on a Sunday morning because it might be gone by the time you get there, that someone else has taken it to use.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought this would be fun and a way to put ourselves more into this, the commonality of it.
And we can stop giving Dixie Cup Company all of our money.
That's really the big thing.
It's the big thing. It's like $3 for 50 cups. Or
That $3
It's crazy. It's highway robbery out there from these Dixie cups.
So bring them, you could start bringing them this Sunday. Just put it on the back Narthex counter, and we're going to come up with some way to display them so that when you walk in, you have access to grabbing one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm
Can't
stoked.
wait.
Yeah, me too.
Super excited to see. I can't wait to see that like Palm Springs shot glass from your spring break in 04. Can't wait to see that. Or, engraved with like your wedding dates.
Yeah, that's the
And you can always still just bring your own and just keep it with you, and you don't have to use the communal chalices.
Yeah.
That's still an option.
All right. I think that wraps up season 4, episode 12 of the Soulcast.
All right.
See y'all next week. Sunday.